Hey YouTube, how's it going? Megan and Sky here. Megan's actually standing behind the iPad, and while we're filming this, you may hear some pitter patter around based on claws on the laminate floor. Anyways, I've got Bristol to my left. We have a new kitten at the end of the table. You'll probably hear him jumping, maybe see him. And Cyrus has been getting arthritis shots, and he went from being 11 years old all the way down to 5 years old. The arthritis shots have worked wonders, and he's like a brand new pup. So, anyways, before we talk too much about this Costa Rica trip, which is what I really want to do, I just want to point out this Yo Moses hat. We got a friend down at the Keys who's really been just a great friend. He's been a great mentor. He's a heck of a fisherman. And anyways, Moses is down there. He's currently working on the My Ohana Sport Fishing and Charters. So he partnered up with the owner of the boat, and together they are fishing their tails off, pun intended. So if you get down to Key West, check out Moses. What a great individual. He's going to put you on the fish, put you on wahoo, put you on, Dorado, anything you want offshore. But most importantly, he's a professional, and he's just a down-to-earth individual, and he really paints a really great picture of what fishing is like through the eyes of somebody who really enjoys life. So with that, let's talk about Costa Rica. Last week, my buddy and I were talking about trips that I've taken and trips that he wants to take. And he said, hey, man, my wife and I are going to Costa Rica. And I said, oh, my wife and I just went to Costa Rica last year. So here's where we stayed. And I talked about Nauru Rainforest Suites. And he says, oh, that's where my wife and I are going to stay. And I said, well, I've got some great drone footage of that when I was down there. I never posted it to YouTube. And in the following conversation, I showed him, fishing videos from Capos, fishing videos of Uvita. What I really didn't get to do is show him the videos that I hadn't posted, which is the most important part, about the people and the places to stay in Costa Rica that make the experience what it truly is. So in the following video, what you're going to see is where we flew into San Jose, and then we took a trip up to La Fortuna. And while we were there, we stayed at Nauru Rainforest Suites. I keep wanting to say Rainforest Cafe, like the stateside, institution. Hashtag it's not. While we were there, though, it was fantastic. So we got to see the Arenal volcano. Some days it didn't have cloud coverage. Other days it did. We got to see wild turkeys. Megan didn't care, but from a FishForageHunt standpoint, wild turkeys in Costa Rica? Are you kidding me? Highlight of my trip, save for the fish. Also, we got to see, those turkeys roosting every night. We got to see white-tailed deer. Just a great trip. And then from La Fortuna, we went down to Monteverde, where we stayed with Don Francisco and Yvonne at an Airbnb where they have goats. And so we had fresh goat milk. And if you're lactose intolerant, don't worry about it. It doesn't affect you. They made cheese, they made caramel, and we got to spend a great evening with them. We purchased a whole bunch of sausage and chicken and different meats, and we barbecued with them. And, my Spanish is terrible, but their English is great. So we kind of worked together, and we had just a great evening on their property. And then from there, we went down to Capos. However, the first day fishing, we had invited Yvonne and her husband to go fishing with us down in Uvita. So they made a 5-hour each way trip to go one day of fishing with us, which was great because their son caught some amazing fish. Their son and Francisco had never been on the ocean. Yvonne had grown up fishing. Her husband had not. So the first time fishing ever in Costa Rica, in Uvita, and we were fishing with Don Fernando and his mate. We caught wahoo. We caught triggerfish. We caught it's just you couldn't let that triggerfish go. Oh, he let the triggerfish go. That's Megan in the background. But just what a great experience. And then of course every night after fishing with Don Fernando, and you'll see that in other videos, we would go back to his house and we would either have fresh ceviche or we'd have sashimi. And while I speak a little bit of Spanish, Megan didn't. So it was, I was speaking broken Spanish. One of the mates spoke English. It was just like, it was almost like watching Anthony Bourdain, rest his soul, down in Costa Rica for us. And it was just a fantastic experience. So without further ado, I'd like to show you the video of us down in Costa Rica and where we stayed. Stay tuned.